Yo, what's up, Mario? Man, FenixLAX, what we doing, man? Where we at?
There, brother. We at the Los Angeles Municipal Gallery. Just wrapped up a shoot with Nancy, one of the curators here. Just a wonderful soul, beautiful soul. These are some of the stories we want to make sure we continue to catalog and allow others to kind of walk into these spaces without even having to be here, right? Sometimes I gotta act as the liaison to the arts, and you know, it's one of those things that I do with joy, just because I know that this is the type of content that I was always looking for on YouTube.
So it's been a little bit since we, you know, touched bases with the HNDP fam, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But tell us what you've been up to, or tell us, you know, kind of catch us up. What's been going on out here in the Arts Wars world, the FenixLAX world?
Well, listen, Will, I knew you were coming, so I was re-watching some of these videos from 10 years ago, and this is why I brought this blue out, because I saw that the blue was what I was wearing last time with some polka dots and stuff like that. I wanted to make sure that I stay true to, you know, who I am and what I do as a documentarian, oral historian, archivist, all of those things, right? I feel like they all blend in as one. And, you know, so we've transitioned from doing ArtWarsLA as an art festival, community art festivals, to a digital media platform where we go ahead and, you know, host a podcast called Members Pass. We're on season 4. Exclusively on Spotify and Apple Pod. The first season, if you're a real one, you can go to SoundCloud and still hear it. I think that we caught the bug with this podcast when we were doing a promotional kind of like pop-up or initiative or activation for our event over in Highland Park at Avenue 50 Studios, A Revolution in the Making. Part 1, and we wanted to go ahead and feature our artists. So we did with Raul out in City Terrace. He produced the first podcast, and we just sat down and spoke to artists. And this is where, you know, I caught the bug, and I knew that I had to transition onto something digital as opposed to just, you know, in person. And of course, the pandemic happened.
And so since then, you've been really focusing on Members Pass and the podcast and really capturing and documenting. Why do you feel documenting in this medium is so important during this generation?
Well, listen, I think that this generation, one of the things that they're missing out on is that communal love and support. You know, growing up in apartments, you know what that's all about, right? Like, your neighbors are your family members or your extended family. So as you know, you lose that in a sense because of COVID and, you know, just a lot of internet, tablet kids is what they like to call themselves now. You lose that community sense. And growing up, I was always exposed to different diasporas, right? I knew that in Pico Union and Koreatown and, you know, Virgil Village, that the people around me, where we all maybe had the same kind of tone in our skin, but all of us were kind of different in a sense, right? We had, our neighbor was from Panama. Everybody always had that Persian neighbor, you know, and then it's like the closer you would, you know, meet with people, you'll understand like, oh, wait a minute, we speak Spanish, but not all of us are from the same area. Some of us are from Mexico, Guatemala. And one of my best friends growing up, his family was from Nicaragua. So understanding that and seeing, you know, his culture, you know, and blending it in with who I am and taking bits and pieces, right? Like some of the languages and things like that. And, you know, just always understanding that in a sense, we were all different, but still represented the same community is something that I felt is missing in this generation. That sense of like camaraderie and pride in where you're from. Because again, like I said, I remember seeing, you know, flags of my neighbors' countries in their living rooms and their balconies, and, you know, understanding and seeing that firsthand is something that the kids and the youth is missing out on because they get to experience it digitally now.
And so being in now more of a digital dominant space, like you're saying, you know, the youth, they get a lot of their content strictly in their mobile devices and online or whatever platform that may be. Podcasting, videos, all of those things, right? Do you see a different surgence of creative expression happening?
Oh yeah, all the time. I think, with the introduction of YouTube, I think that, now there's a celebrity in romanticizing your everyday life. People are starting to romanticize going to the store, going out to a theme park and all that stuff. So I feel like it's still very important, right, to tell your perspective on it. But at the end of the day, what should be high lit or spot lit should be your specific view on life, right? Like what filter are you viewing life from, right? Like, is it through the arts? Is it through experiences? Like, what exactly is it? And this is how I feel like the youth can continue to add substance to the worldwide internet and the content that lives out there.
Cool. At HEDP, we acknowledge, cultural leaders, community leaders, creative leaders, and we've always highlighted you as one of those leaders. Can you give a little bit of reflection of the importance of highlighting leadership in your community or your group or your peer group, etc.?
Absolutely. I think that as long as, someone continues to think of themselves as a student of life, you will continue to find other people that are way more interesting than you, right? And you're never in competition with others. The only competition you should see or think that you have is, yourself and the limitations that you put on yourself. Look at where we're at right now. We're inside the Los Angeles Municipal Gallery, right? A gallery that's operated by the city of Los Angeles. But yet there's still people in here that look just like you and I that are operating and giving these opportunities to other artists like you and I to go ahead and have a platform to say, hey, I exist. Hey, my work is valued, and bring a community around it. So, again, seeing the world as a never-ending, school, I would say, is the way that I see it. So, I'm never shy to say, hey, I don't understand this. Let me reach out to this mentor, or let me reach out to this, professional contact I have, because they can steer me in the right direction. So, mentorship, being a student of life is very important, not only because you continue to learn, but also it keeps you humble.
Has ArtWarsLA evolved when it comes down to what it means to you? What does Art Wars mean to you today?
Honestly, Art Wars has always been a vessel to go ahead and get some of these creative ideas out into the world and try to connect with other creatives. When it was in its infancy as a festival, I just witnessed so many people be impacted by just that community aspect of what I've been talking about to you, being able to share their work, maybe for the first time, around other like-minded people, and finding people in these neighborhoods that actually share that same ideology, right? And now seeing that, the festivals, yes, they're important, but what's more important at this point in my eyes, and what I want to continue to contribute is an archive, right, of like-minded people, or it can also be of, professional artisans or, executive artists that not a lot of people may have access to on a day-to-day basis, and then catalog their stories and tell, their experience and journey as a curator, a gallery owner, a PR, a publicist for different, nonprofits, whatever it may be. Some of these jobs that exist, we may not ever know from, that they exist if nobody's kind of spotlighting them. And I feel like throughout my life, every time I had a project, either the newspaper, LA Times, La Opinion, just different outlets, different, platforms were always so interested in, spotlighting me. So now I want to become a resource as opposed to just, an artist that's taking up space, right? I want to create spaces where it's not only a living thing, but also a platform of knowledge.
Two last questions.
Yep.
Who is FenixLAX?
Oh man.
And then answer it like FenixLAX is.
FenixLAX is a father, creative, somebody that enjoys culture, right? right? Somebody that enjoys learning from others that come from different walks of life. I think with me and with everything that I create, the most important thing is being a good listener, right? Being able to understand and being able not to just jump in and jump to conclusions, but try to, you know, be in other people's shoes and try to, as much as possible, right, paint that picture of how they see it in their eyes, and try to understand, right? So somebody that wants to understand the world from every perspective possible. I love, I love infrastructure. I like to see the scaffolding of things like a 6-week program to architecture program, or you know, a project, or how, you know, economic and workforce development works, you know, in cities like ours.
All right. And then during the previous interview, at the end, you said hard work and dedication pays off. And when we look at those words, we could find the acronym HNDP. And so what we discussed was actually launching a collaboration sticker poster campaign to really raise awareness around creative expression and dedication, and, you know, being a person of perseverance, right? So can you tell us just a quick blurb of what hard work and dedication means to you, and why doing this collaboration means so much?
Hey, listen, HNDP, we talk about this off camera all the time, right? You know, we never really leave who we started with. We just continue to evolve. And for those that are really, you know, grounded in who they are, you carry your tribe with you wherever you go, right? So HNDP has been an organization that I've relied on not only as a fiscal sponsor, but also work closely with Will to, you know, continue to create programs for the next generation of creatives. So when I said in the past interview, hard work and dedication pays off, you know, was just an homage to HNDP and the work that you know, I've seen firsthand, right, come into fruition. And this collaboration, this poster, this sticker series is very important because it's in a sense, a doorway to what's to come. We have this like joking saying that we say this is just the beginning at HNDP, and as you can see here again, this is just the beginning, right? Like I hope that you watch this video and you see what goes behind the scenes, right? Like it's hard work and dedication. You really gotta love it. You really gotta be here and be focused on your craft to be able to pump out content that means something. I meet content creators all the time, you know, nothing but respect to them, right? But what I do and what they do is different, right? Like I may be interested in archiving, they may be interested in promoting, right? Like I'm not, in a sense, here to necessarily promote this exhibition. More than anything, my main mission here is to understand why this exhibition is important and why does it exist in 2026. So again, this sticker collaboration, in a sense, it's just the keys to a pathway that leads to not only creative opportunities, but, you know, knowledge building, and more than anything, just centering all of our energy into a project that allows others to view themselves as students of life.
All right.